Alright guys, so we're here at UK Games Expo. I'm here with Scott from Nuts Publishing, and we're going to be looking at some of the games that they've got to show off here this weekend at the show. So, how's it going, Scott? You having a good time so far, yeah?
Yeah. I've only just got here, but it's going great already.
Yeah. So, what's the couple of games you got here to show off here?
So, we've got 3 games here. So, the first one is called 300 Earth and Water. This was published very recently. It's now available retail in the UK and across the world. So, it's a small format war game, card-driven war game on the Greco-Persian War. So we have the blue here is the Persians, and the red over there is the Greeks. And the game lasts 5 campaigns, maximum of 5 campaigns. During each campaign, first the players will spend resources on building armies and fleets and purchasing cards. Then on the campaign phase, they play the cards to move and fight. There's some special events as well. So if you look on the cards, each card will have an event for each side. Mm-hmm. So you can discard the card to move or fight, or you can play it for the event. We have armies represented by cubes. We have navies represented by fleets. We have the bridge here across the Hellespont, which the Persian player can build. And the aim of the game is to capture cities. At the end of each campaign, count up how many cities you've got. Some will score double, and you move the victory marker here over to your side if you've scored more points than your opponent, or vice versa. At the end of the game, whoever's got the most points, or whichever side it's on, that player's won the game.
Sounds very cool indeed. And so, moving on, we've got This War Without an Enemy. Sounds very cool. I'm starting to really like the English Civil War at the moment. I've been really into collecting like miniatures and stuff for it and all kinds of things like that. So this is immediately captured my attention. So, tell us a little bit about this one.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I'm the designer of this game. So this was published last year, the end of last year. So it's a block war game. As you can see here, these are the blocks, but it's card driven. So the subject is the First English Civil War. The game starts in 1642, moves on to 1646, or until one player has reached the victory conditions. So with this game, similarly to 300 Earth and Water, the aim of the game is to capture cities. For example, we have York here. So this begins the game as a royalist city, coloured in blue. If the parliamentarian player catches it, they'll gain a victory point. And the aim of the game is to gain 3 victory points. So we start 1 victory point for the parliamentarian side, and if the royalists capture a city, would move this marker over here. If you get to 3 at the end of a round, the end of a turn, you've won the game. So it's a card-driven game. At the beginning of each year, a player will draw 6 cards, and every turn both players will play a card face down, and then these will be revealed simultaneously. Whichever player played the card with the highest value, these are operation points, that player will become player 1, they have the initiative for the turn. And they will spend the points on moving their blocks around the map, and they can also recruit, they can gain strength points or put new blocks on the map. Then the other player will go. Then the resolve battles, siege assaults, then we have supply phase, sieges, and then the end of the turn. We also have a battle map here, so when if blocks meet in an area, then they'll fight a battle on this map here. This is sort of a player aid, as well as looking like a battlefield. So in each round, we'll start on this side with the artillery will fire first, then we have musketeers firing, cavalry charging, and finally pikemen will engage with each other. So battles last 3 rounds, all resolved on this little map here.
Sounds very, very cool indeed. I really like the sort of idea of it, playing that kind of like map-based thing, and then also playing out the battles as well. Sounds very interesting. Very cool stuff. Yeah. And so also we've also got Mini Rogue here as well. So
Mini Rogue's a little bit different. This is a 1 or 2 player dungeon crawler, so it can be played solitaire or 2-player cooperatively. It was based on an original 9-card minigame, which was a PNP game, came out a few years ago. And the 2 designers, who are French-Canadian, took it to nuts. So this is being delivered to Kickstarter backers in the next 2 weeks, and it'll be available retail very soon. So the game now consists of a number of levels in the dungeon. So we see 1 level laid out here. So it's set up for a 2-player game. And what you do on your turn is you choose one direction to go, either horizontally or vertically. Let's say you go horizontally. You reveal the next card, and each card is a little bit different. You might be fighting monsters, you might visit a merchant, you'll be able to buy things, or you might find a wizard who sells potions, etc. So you keep going down until you reach the end of the level. There'll be a boss to fight. This will be obviously a little bit more difficult. As you fight monsters, you'll gain experience, you can level up. As you level up, you get more dice to roll in combat or with skill checks. Once you finish one level of the dungeon, you reset. You've got a pack of cards, you'll shuffle these and lay them out again. So there are 4 levels in the dungeon. At the bottom of the dungeon, you get the final boss. And obviously, if you defeat the final boss, you've won the game.
Sounds very, very good. I like the idea of kind of like condensing down that dungeon delving experience and having it as also that solitaire experience as well. I remember seeing Mini Rogue popping up a couple of times, and so it's nice to actually see it done in sort of like this format as well and that kind of thing. So
yeah, I mean, it's still a 30-minute game, but there's also a campaign format now. So there are additional cards, and you can play with, play a dungeon, move on to another dungeon. There are some sort of cards you can, which give you options in between.
Yeah, so if you're interested in diving into a little bit of historical stuff, maybe a little bit of fantasy, doing a bit of solo dungeon delving, make sure to come and check out the stuff from Nuts Publishing, and we'll see you guys in the next video.